So good evening everyone and welcome to MacHale Park in Castlebar. Apologies, we've joined you a little later than advertised. That of course due to the issue nationwide this evening, right across the country, a problem with the air broadband service. But thanks to the work of the O'Dowds here in our technical team, we have got the stream up and running, and this Connacht Gold Mayo Senior Club Football Championship semi-final replay has already started. It's about a minute old, heading towards the 90-second mark, and we've had just 1 point so far. That came just a few moments ago from the boot of Castlebar Mitchels number 2, Sean Conlon. Now there's a couple of changes made to the teams in the programme, nothing major, but we will update you on those in just a moment. Also, due to those issues with the air broadband, we don't have a countdown clock or indeed a score for you in terms of graphics, so we'll keep you updated on the score and the time as the evening progresses. We're 2 minutes into the first half, and it's Ballintubber playing from right to left. Here's Kieran Gavin, a man who literally is half the age of Alan Dillon, shoots from 35 yards, and that flies away to the left and wide. Castlebar Mitchels then will run through their team. Rory Byrne in goal, Sean Conlon, Ger McDonough, Donny Newcombe, Ray O'Malley, Paddy Durkin, Shane Hopkins, Aidan Walsh and Donny Vaughan were 8 and 9. Owen O'Reilly starts in place of Neil Lydon. Danny Kirby and James Durkin make up that half forward line. Barry Moore and Neil Douglas and David Stenson complete the first 15 as that ball breaks almost into the path of Barry Moore. Somehow it's been slipped back and out to Neil Douglas, and that is a very tidy finish from Neil Douglas. Took him a while to get going in the drawn game here last weekend, but he is off to a flying start. We've played 3 minutes, Kevin Filan, and the county champions look very, very sharp. They lead 2 points to no score.
Yeah, Mike, really good start from Castlebar. Great fetch from a kick out from Rory Bird by Neil Douglas. They were switching things up today, but yeah, serious intent for the first few minutes from Mitchels. Big change from last week.
Ballintubber, by the way, they've made one change as well from the team named in the programme. It's the same change they made last weekend with Brian Welch wearing number 20 starting in place of Pádraig O'Connor. So that means Brendan Welch starts in goal, Gary Loftus, Cathal Hallinan, Brian Murphy in the full back line, Damien Coleman, Michael Plunkett, Rory O'Connor in the half back line. Jason Gibbons is named alongside Diarmuid O'Connor in the middle of the field. Kieran Gavin, Alan Dillon, Alan Plunkett with Brian Welch, Cillian O'Connor and Stephen O'Malley. Here is Cillian O'Connor racing in after this ball. He's not going to get there though. And Jackie Heenahan, who's our Ballintubber representative, I must ask you, there was a strong rumour last night that Cillian O'Connor was not going to start, that he was carrying an injury. He does start, but you did hear on the grapevine, may not be 100%.
Yeah, well, that just a training on Wednesday night. As you know yourself, a training session, the guys don't hold back. So there's a couple of big hits going in, and he limped away for a short while, but the powers of recovery of those O'Connor lads is pretty good. So he's here.
So in case you've just logged on and joined us, 4 minutes gone in the first half of this semi-final replay. Castlebar Mitchels, the champions, lead Ballintubber, the challengers, 2 points to no score. Again, apologies to viewers for the absence of a scoreboard or a clock. That is due to the issue with the air broadband service here in Mayo and indeed right across the country this Saturday. We're watching Cillian O'Connor though. You'd pick him out from a fair distance, that distinctive figure. Beautiful evening for a game here in Castlebar. Cillian O'Connor gets the boot right through it, got right behind it, and that is a spectacular start to his evening and Ballintubber's in terms of scores on the board. Castlebar Mitchels lead by 2 points to 1, and we'll hear very shortly from our analyst John Maughan, who joins us again in the commentary box this evening. Ball played down along this right hand side. Shane Hopkins is after it, got there just in front of Damien Coleman. He's 45 metres from the Ballintubber goal. Space is very tight. Here's Damien Coleman again, captaining Ballintubber this season, outnumbered 3-1. Situation watched closely by the linesman Paul Lydon. Referee John Glavey from Ahamore blows the whistle, and he's penalised Damien Coleman for hanging on to that ball too long. Barry Moran has the ball in hand. He's not going to rush it. Plays a 1-2 with Aidan Walsh. Here's Barry again. Fires it into the mixer. Cathal Hallinan did very well to take that ball almost from a standing start. Now Diarmuid O'Connor, and a lovely delivery down to Stephen O'Malley. An equally good one to Cillian O'Connor. Nobody up with him. Tries to thread it across. Alan Plunkett's coming. Rory Byrne leaves his goal and the Mitchells goalkeeper shows a clean pair of heels to Alan Plunkett. You don't normally see Rory Byrne this far from his goal, but he did very, very well follow.
Very well, Rory. Yeah, I read the situation really well, but it's dangerous leaving Killian in there 1-on-1 with Ger McDonough. But well played by Rory Byrne.
Here's Paddy Durkin trying to stretch his legs for the first time, linking with Danny Kirby. Kirby could pop up pretty much anywhere. James Durkin very quiet in the drawn game. He started brightly. Quick hands by Barry Moran, too quick for Kirby, tidied up by Loftus, and away to the far side to Kieran Gavin. Here's Alan Dillon. Lovely ball up the wing to Jason Gibbons. This game already threatening to be the classic we were all waiting for last weekend. Just both teams already playing much looser with much more freedom. And it seems as though Kevin Johnson of Ballintubber and Decky Shaw and Benji Smith from the Mitchells have told their teams to go for it. Here's Dillon going for it, back off the post. Cillian O'Connor beats McDonough. Just so you could see him making up his mind there, Cillian O'Connor. He just wanted to make sure, but didn't make good contact, didn't manage to hit the target, and it's taken clear by Mitchells. Here's Ger McDonough again, has a chance to head upfield and decides to take it. Now Barry Moran, referee John Glavey playing an advantage, none coming, and that will be a free to the Mitchells. So it's Castlebar Mitchells who lead Ballintubber by 2 points to 1. We've played 7.5 minutes in the first half. Aidan Walsh drills it into the corner, bounces once in front of David Stenson, and it's gone, and it's not going to get there, and that's away for a wide ball. John Mahan, you're welcome back. What have you made of what you've seen so far?
I suppose a couple of interesting things. I see Paddy Durkin is picking up Jeremy O'Connor. Jeremy had a fantastic game the last day. Last weekend had a huge influence on the game, but they decided to redeploy Paddy Durkin from centre half back or wing back to go out and do a man-to-man marking job on him. Barry Moran is playing a more orthodox midfield role than you might recall last weekend. He played as an orthodox kind of forward and wasn't in the game at all. But Castlebar Mitchells looked a little bit hungrier. They look a little bit sharper than Ballintubber, but it's early days yet.
Kick out from Brendan Welch. Man trying to make something of it is Diarmuid O'Connor. Did well to toe poke it forward. Now Alan Dillon always seems to have so much time on the ball. Takes a touch, picks out the pass, finds his man. That's Cillian O'Connor. So often the two on the same wavelength. Cillian O'Connor though has got Ray O'Malley and Sean Conlon for company. Support arrives. This is Dillon again, and in the end it is a foul and a free. Jason Gibbons, the man who was impeded as he tried to go by the defender, and it will be possession to Ballintubber. In case you've just joined us, Castlebar Mitchells leading Ballintubber by 2 points to 1. We're still just inside the first 10 minutes. We're in the 10th minute, in fact, as Gary Loftus picks this ball up 50 yards out. Man making an angled run is Damien Coleman. Coming around here on the loop is Brian Welsh. Stephen O'Malley, so quiet last weekend, just seemed to force that effort. Drop short and easy for Rory Byrne, and Mitchells will clear. Man coming onto this ball is Sean Conlon. Opened the scoring about 9 minutes ago. Very tidy corner back. Links with Kirby. Mitchells content initially to go backwards to come forwards. Ray O'Malley, goal scorer in the drawn game. Conlon looking for Douglas. He's there in front of Brian Murphy. That will be a match-up worth watching. Douglas gets the shot away all right, but he was under pressure from Murphy. Brendan Welsh leaves his line, gets there in front of James Durkin, and Diarmuid O'Connor links with his brother Rory. Back to Diarmuid again, all the way across to Gary Loftus. That's very neat and tidy by O'Connor, by Loftus, and by Ballintubber in general. Man coming clear is Michael Plunkett. Spins out of the tackle of Kirby. Just came under a little bit of pressure. Moves the ball on as quickly as he can to Damien Coleman. He too is wrapped up very, very quickly. Foul though, and it will be a free to Ballintubber. Jackie Heenahan, what have you made of the first 10 minutes from a Ballintubber perspective?
Yeah, we're very tentative at the moment. I think we need to just take the ball, or the bull by the horns, I was going to say, and start running at them. This guy now coming onto the ball, Brian Walsh, just gone away from there. Some of our lads just not getting on the ball. Actually, he's got it. let's do something with it now, Brian, something constructive.
He did well there to retrieve that situation. Looked like all was lost, and he's managed to win a free. And I think Mitchells will be asking themselves, Philo, in the inquest, how exactly they went from a position where they were in complete control to giving away a free.
Yeah, just simple basics. Didn't go down on the ball and pick it up, and then a needless foul. There was 3 of them around Kieran, and they didn't need to foul him. And look, Killian's not going to miss this, so it's going to be 2 for 2 for frees for Killian. Back to old square.
Interesting to see Ballintubber 9-4 outsiders coming into this replay tonight. Looks like whatever about inside their camp, where I'm sure they believe in their heart of hearts they can win this and go to a county final against Brafey. Certainly the odds makers have written them off, but Cillian O'Connor levels the game. This county semi-final replay is all square, 2 points apiece as we head towards the end of the first quarter here at MacHale Park in Castlebar. Beautiful evening. Rory Byrne took his time over that, weighed up all his options, went right down the middle in the end, looking for Aidan Welch. Over his head though, and gathered back there by Gary Loftus. Plunkett fires it forward to Loftus again, who'd stayed upfield. Here's a man you don't see shoot very often, but Gary Loftus hits it right on the button. And now Ballintubber are out in front, John Maughan, 3-2.
Yeah, I have to say, Castlebar Mitchels, after a great opening, very, very impressive in the first 4 or 5 minutes, but they got a little bit sloppy again. Something similar to the way they played last weekend, the first half. But yeah, a little bit sloppy, had loads of possession, not capitalising it, and you leave the door open for Ballintubber. They're wise old heads, the Ballintubber boys, but they're right in the mix. It's a fascinating game so far. Very difficult to see what's going to happen, but good opening 10 minutes.
Kevin Johnson, the Ballintubber manager, a happy man after 13 minutes. His team have just moved into a 3-2 lead, and as John said there, they are warming to the task quite nicely. Damien Coleman played so much of his football in the forward line, has been reconfigured as a defender, missed by Rory O'Connor, who just had overshot the runway. Mopped up and tidied up by Jason Gibbons. Lovely ball. Cillian O'Connor again out in front of Ger McDonough. May not be 100%, but whatever he's taken or whatever he's doing with himself the last few days, it's certainly working. And Jason Gibbons it is who wriggles his way free of the last tackle and drills that up and over the bar. Double scores. We've played 13 and a half minutes, and Jackie Heenahan, you're a happy man. 4-2 as Jason Gibbons this time hits the target. As
I said, there's what some of the big lads had to pick up their game, but the last few minutes we are starting to get more of control of the ball around midfield. Rory Byrne, after going short there, he didn't go long that particular time, so the Mitchells are going to try and play it out from the back. That seems a bit more comfortable that way, because we've guys with Jermage and Jason at midfield. We will, most of those high balls, we will contest those pretty well.
That's now 4 points in a row for Ballintubber. Mitchells had hit the ground running, but Ballintubber 4-2 up. We've played almost 15 minutes in this first half. Little or no breeze to talk about. Hardly a puff of wind down there. Vaughan, nice delivery to James Durkin. Just look how quick he is on his feet. Durkin! Well, James Horan is sitting about 20 yards away from us, Philo. He will have noted that. He will have noted the way Durkin got out in front, first of all, but more importantly, how he finished.
Yeah, but his step, Mike, as well, the way he just got the ball, turned straight away onto his right foot, left the defender in his wake, and a great score from James.
4-3, John Maughan. It's starting to warm up nicely.
Yeah, that was a classic point. James Durkin was very, very impressive there. Yeah, I know we've listeners all around the world. A good friend of mine, Dave O'Malley's out in Toronto. I want to say hello. His nephew is playing here this evening. You know, Dave. Yeah, he is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, his nephew is Stephen. So say where you are, Dave. Everything is going well at home.
John Maughan, a true pro. Here's Alan Dillon, another pro. Back as far as his centre back, Michael Plunkett, scored that spectacular goal here last Saturday night. Lovely turn by Stephen O'Malley, and Ger McDonough is just not himself at all. He's been turned, but there to save his blushes and to intercept was Donny Vaughan. That was crucial. Now the break could be on here for Mitchells. James Durkin, he has the wheels that'll trouble Rory O'Connor, but Rory is sticking to his task. Now Durkin cuts inside like we knew he would. He couldn't. He has. James Durkin with an absolute peach. It started with the intercept by Donny Vaughan, And John Mahan, talk us through it.
Yeah, I have to say that's a class. As good as a point you'll see. I have to say he's given a bit of a run around there to Rory. Rory had the choke out there trying to stick with him. James has incredible pace, but his finish was top class. I mean, I watched James over the last number of years. Always questioned his finish was never there. His approach play has been superb, but that was a superb score, top class.
Teams level for the second time, Philo. You were always fond of cutting inside yourself down that left wing, making the angle. You'll have loved that.
Oh, lovely score from James, yeah, but he has a serious pace, serious set of wheels. It's interesting what Ballintubber are doing. They're crowding out the middle section. They're leaving 3-on-3 at the back, so there is space there for the lads inside. Back to you, Mike, there.
Intercept, 4 points apiece, by the way. Castlebar Mitchels 4 points, Ballintubber 4 points. Still very early days though. That's a heavy collision. It's Aidan Walsh who's down from Castlebar.
Is it Barry?
Let's take another look. We're going to just have one more look, and it was just a very heavy collision. Two men with eyes on the ball. Aidan Welch is the Castlebar man. Jackie, can you put a name or a number? It's Killian O'Connor. It is indeed. He's up now. That was a very, very heavy hit. But how are we on the clock, Philo? Everyone here multitasking and double jobbing this evening. 17 minutes gone. Where have those 17 minutes gone? They've flown by. Well, they do say, John, time flies when you're having fun, and at 4 points apiece, it's a lot more crack than last week.
I have to say it's a much better game. The opening 17 minutes have been top class. Good football, lots of quality football out there, but very impressive. But if you're a punter and you've backed Mitchells, you'd be a little bit concerned. But yeah, the game is very much in the balance. I have no idea who could win the game. That's fantastic. Here is, a supporter who's following the game. You'd be delighted to see the way it's going.
That big crowd here are getting what they came to see. It has been all action. Lovely ball by McDonough. Just seemed to throw a look away pass to take a couple of Ballintubber boys out of it. Now James Durkin recycles it back to Aidan Walsh. There's a man all alone on the far side. Walsh goes down the middle, and Brendan Welch had to watch it every step of the way there. It was spinning in the air. We had a good view of it. We were right behind it. But Aidan Welch had other options there. He didn't take them, and it was the wrong one he took in the end of Philo, let's be honest.
Yeah, Danny Kirby, for the viewers, Danny Kirby was free left corner forward position. The ball should have went straight across him. I don't know whether Aidan was trying to go that or was he taking a shot, but not to play it.
So still over 10 minutes to go in the first half here at MacHale Park in Castlebar. You're watching the Connacht Gold Mayo Senior Club Football Championship semi-final replay. Brafey already through to the final. I'm sure they've got plenty of scouts all around the stand and all around the stadium. Right now, the champions Castlebar Mitchels chasing 4 in a row this season. 4 points. Ballintubber, their great rivals, 4 points. Jason Gibbons, he is really up for this evening. Driving towards the crossbar, driven backwards. Move still alive though. Here's Stephen O'Malley. Back as far as Brian Welch, sitting in the pocket like a good out half. It's just going to drop short. Caught by Rory Byrne, and again he moves it on as quickly as he can. But it's noticeable, Jackie, in the first half so far, the link play for Ballintubber much improved on last week.
Yeah, but I would still, I don't mean to be negative as such, but I would still like to see some of our not so big players, like the Stephen there, for example, Stephen O'Malley, Alan Plunkett. We need those lads to chip in with a few scores, because if we're relying on Killian every day like we were the last day, we're going to be out of this game. The other guys have got to get a couple of scores. We went through the last day for the second half without any score at all from play. So this is going to be our biggest problem to work. The Mitchells are getting the scores a little bit easier, even though our lads are working very, very hard. Diarmuid, I have to say, is not getting on the ball as much today. Maybe Patrick Durkin is doing his job, and Diarmuid has to watch him.
Well, Castlebar Mitchels have been holding possession for the last 30 seconds or so. Barry Moran. Ger McDonough, by the way, is just down on his hunkers, 45 yards from his own goal. Just trying to get his breath back. Not quite sure if he's got a problem. But referee John Glavey has spotted holding inside on Neil Douglas by Brian Murphy. And I suppose, John, he's been consistent, if nothing else, John Glavey, this evening. He's pulled a few players a few times for that.
Yeah, I have to say John Glavey is a good referee. Nice the time I barked at him from the sideline, particularly when I was managing underage teams here in Mitchells. But he eagle-eyed John, I'll call him now, after picking out that point. But more importantly, from a Mitchells point of view, Jeremy McDonough's down. I just watched him there trying to close down a Ballintubber player a few moments ago. He looked very, very lethargic, very slow. He's certainly not fluent in his running, and there could be a problem there. He's picking up Killian, of course, and he's his hands full with Killian, but he certainly doesn't look like he's 100% fit. He's back on his feet, but he doesn't look like he's 100% fit.
So 21 minutes gone. Still 4 points apiece. Deadlock in this semi-final replay. I see the Mitchells management having a quick conflab. Decky Shaw, Benji Smith, and it's actually I think it's one of their medical team maybe that was in the rear there, and I would assume they're talking about Ger McDonough as David Stenson. Well, he just cut that cloth right to the measure. He didn't leave a whole pile of room for error, but over it swings. Mitchell's back in front 5-4, Philo, but there's obviously an issue, a worry about Ger McDonough down at the other end.
Yeah, he's been down. He was down for a couple of minutes. He's on his feet now. We'll just see what'll happen in the next couple of minutes. But noticeable difference today, Mike, in the middle of the field is Mitchells are winning a lot more breaks. They're committing fellas to the breaks. The last in the first half, I don't think they won a break. Noticeable difference this half.
That was Barry Moore that pulled that last one out of the clouds. But play stopped, Ballintubber player down and will need a little bit of attention. 1-12 apiece it finished in the drawn match last weekend. It was that grandstand finish from Ballintubber that brought us all back here this evening for the replay. Rory O'Connor it was there who was in the wars. As John mentioned earlier, he's got his hands full this evening trying to keep tabs on James Durkin. Here is Durkin, who just tried to find some space while his man was being treated, but Mitchell's there I think went too short. John Glavey has been very, very strict on the technical stuff, penalises them. Possession back to Ballintubber. Rory O'Connor up on his feet again, good to go. Nice ball. Pop back by O'Malley to Gavin. Dummied the shot there. Links with Coleman, but as soon as he took the touch, Kirby was in like Flynn. Diarmuid O'Connor, quick change of direction. Diarmuid O'Connor looking for a spectacular one, just leaves it short, gathered by Rory Byrne. Diarmuid O'Connor, you can just get the sense he's trying to get that engine running, trying to get that motor warmed up. So brilliant here in the drawn game. Took a few very heavy hits though, so much so that when the final whistle blew at the end of extra time, he actually thought for a moment Ballintubber had won. But I'm sure, Philo, it can happen. You're caught up in the moment. You've just taken a couple of big hits. It can happen. You just lose track of the score. Yeah,
Diarmuid was outstanding last week, and he was up and down the pitch, and you're fully absorbed in the game. And look at Ballintubber winning. It was Mitchell's that went the point up, and look, he just miscalculated. It easily happens, but he took a bit of a leap down here in front of us. Hopefully, he won't be leaping today either.
5 points to the Mitchells, 4 to Ballintubber. I make it about 25 minutes gone in the first half, so 5 to go. Here's Paddy Durkin trying to accelerate away from a couple of defenders. Now his twin brother James, and the next man in the line is Danny Kirby. Ballintubber have got 14 men inside their own 45. This is where all those tackling drills that they've done on the training ground in Clogher and out on the community pitch in Ballintubber will now come into play, as Mitchells are forced to try their luck down this right wing. Aidan Welch back inside to Shane Hopkins. They are the past masters at this sort of thing, Mitchells. Time and time again over the last 4 or 5 seasons they've come up against these well organised defences. They have an array of options. Durkin back to Vaughan. In fact, it was Paddy Durkin who came into the line. A big up and under. Knocked away by Gibbons, but only as far as Shawnee Conlon, who had to shoot on sight. Didn't have a whole lot of time or space to work with, and that's away to the left and wide. 5 minutes to go to half time, John Maughan. Castlebar Mitchels leading 5 points to 4. Is that a fair enough reflection of what we've seen so far?
I think they're just about a shade better than Ballintubber that opening 25 minutes. But and Ballintubber getting huge numbers back there. I think there was 14 behind the ball. They'd only one outlet if they turned the ball over. But it was a hasty shot by Sean Conlon. Should have recycled the ball again. But look at anyone's game. It's very hard to call it, Mike.
Damien Coleman, good strong run. Ball moved through the hands as Alan Plunkett is forced to head back towards his own goal. Man who started teaching this year at St Joseph's National School in Ballinrobe, Killian O'Connor. Well, there's no other man you'd want to see on the end of a move if you're from the Tubber, and Killian O'Connor shows a touch of class to swing over another beauty Sides are level, 5 points apiece. That was beautiful, Jackie.
Yes, that's what Killian can do, but it was the other guys who did all the work. Alan Plunkett, great cross-field ball. The other guys, as they're going to have to make the runs for him, and he'll finish if he gets the ball.
Sides level for the third time in this first half. I'm sure plenty of you watching in have stuck a fiver on the draw. Certainly at this stage you could not bet against it. County final down to be played next Saturday evening here at 8 o'clock. Brafey against either the Mitchells or Ballintubber. Less than 5 minutes to go in the first half. We're heading towards the half-time break and it is all square. Here's Stephen O'Malley, man who scored a hat-trick in the semi-final of last year's championship. Diarmuid O'Connor had to wait a moment or two for that to drop out of the clouds. Now Damien Coleman, well, he wound up there and he just fired that right peg at it, but didn't hit it on the sweet spot, Philo. And as we said about miscalculating the score, that can happen as well.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, maybe that's the reason Damien has gone back to the backs the last couple of years. But yeah, he just sliced off the side of the boot. I don't think the shot was on. He should have been probably a bit more patient. But it'll be interesting to see will it go in level at half time. The next score, like, you know, psychologically it'd be great to be going a point in at half time. It's been very, very close. So let's see who can get the next score.
Interesting this time, Rory Byrne short with the kick out, quick and short, and Mitchells will try and play their way out through the lines and head towards halfway. We're in the 28th minute, about 2.5 minutes of normal time to play in this first half. All square. Ballintubber 5 points, Castlebar Mitchels 5 points. They have not let one another out of each other's sights so far. Paddy Durkin, lovely delivery to Douglas, just the way he likes it, bouncing up into his chest. Brian Murphy again comes off second best. Murphy now will try and deal with the next wave. Douglas though goes by him. Here's Donny Newcomb, first real chance he's had to get a look at the goal. Dangerous ball, fisted across the goal by Barry Moran and just wide. Jackie Heenahan, your heart was in your mouth.
Oh my God, I thought I was going to pass out. And on another day that would definitely have gone in. Any of those dangerous balls, we keep saying the big man on the edge of the square just slamped the ball in on top of them, and something could come from it. Thanks to God that particular time it didn't.
Big bird, John. He took off and everybody took a breath.
I think Donny Newcomb was going for a point. I don't think that was a pass into Big Bird, but yeah, it could have ended up in the back of the net, but a little bit lucky there, I suppose, from a Ballintubber point of view.
Stoppage now. Kieran Gavin is down, and he has been down for the last 10 seconds or so. John Glavey didn't stop the play. That's why Ballintubber are not best pleased, I think, with the referee. But now the play is stopped, and Kieran Gavin is down here. Not quite sure if we can have another look at what happened.
I think I was seeing it there, Mike. I think it was Brian Walsh actually. Kieran is down, but Brian was going down the ball, and there probably was a slight little push from the Mitchells player, and he didn't get the free. So that's why the Ballintubber crowd were shouting. He then just stopped it when he saw Kieran down. But I think it was probably a Ballintubber free, and John Glavey just didn't give it.
We're into the last minute or so of this first half. We're in the 30th minute, so we're just waiting to hear what we'll get in terms of additional time. Again, apologies for the absence of a clock and a scoreboard on your screen this evening. That is a legacy of the issue that Ayr are having with the broadband service right across the country this Saturday. A lot of counties affected, including Mayo, and also meant that literally up until the last minute this evening, nobody quite sure if we would be able to bring you coverage of this game. But we're back online, and we've just been told by the fourth official down there, Michael Daly, we'll have at least 3 minutes of additional time at the end of this first half. Ball delivered by Cillian O'Connor, in over the top to Brian Welch, almost like he's trying to beat the offside trap. Paddy Durkin stands him up. Brian Welch shoots and scores, and Brian Welch shows just why he's back in the first 15. That was a superb score just into first half injury time, and it's good enough to put Ballintubber, Jackie, back in front, 6-5.
Yeah, great vision from Cillian. First of all, to win the ball back. Ballintubber worked awful hard to win the back. But of all the men you wanted to kick it to at that stage was Brian Welch. He's got great legs, had been out for a long time with injury. I thought he wouldn't have the legs to get away from Paddy Durkin that time, I think, but he's the one man you like to have on the end of it.
John Mahan, how often do we see Cillian O'Connor playing centre back, playing a left-footed 50-yard delivery that ends up in a score.
It was wonderful. It was a great vision, a one-on-one scenario, and obviously great legs there, and a wonderful score from a Ballintubber point of view. But Alan Dillon, I see Alan Dillon's back here playing a corner-back role as well. Killian's now lurking behind the midfielders as well. That's the modern football for you.
Yeah, Ballintubber trying to draw Mitchells out and then hit them in behind. Dillon, one man up top. It's Brian Welch. Tried to just give Danny Kirby the dunt there, but back to mind the house was James Durkin. Ball went one way, Shane Hopkins the other. Mitchells just not at the pitch of it in these last 5 minutes in particular. They've fallen a point behind. We're into injury time. That's a big hit by Michael Plunkett on Neil Douglas. Mitchells get the free. Inside close to goal, Stenson's trying to lose Hallinan, but before that happens, referee John Glavey is going to hop the ball. There was a reaction from one of the Mitchells. Brian Murphy hit the deck. Hop ball, Philo, in discipline.
Yeah, in discipline from Donny. Shouldn't have it. Mitchells have been sloppy the last 5 minutes, Mike. They go away 2 balls. They need to tidy up. They're on the attack here now, though.
Barry Moore, 2 Mitchells men down and a man from the Tubber too. Play continues in the background. Barry Moran loses the ball in the tackle. Now that Ballintubber man is still down, even though play has restarted. John Glavey gives him, was it a sympathetic look? Maybe it was quizzical. In any event, play continues, and Ballintubber must continue with 14 men for the moment. It was Alan Plunkett who now is back on his feet. Gavin out through the side door to Dillon. Dillon shoots. Well, we told you earlier, he's twice his age. Gavin to Dillon. And the old dog for the hard road, Jackie. Ballintubber leads 7-5.
Yeah, Alan has the cuteness, but he's done a lot of running, which is not maybe great for Alan at this stage of his life. As John Mahan said, he was full back a few moments ago picking up Neil Douglas, and now he's at full forward. He needs to conserve his energy a little bit, but he is cute enough to do that.
So Ballintubber lead Castlebar Mitchels by 7 points to 5. We're into first half injury time. We're in the 33rd minute. Time is almost up. Barry Moran leaves it short, gathered by Brendan Welch. We were told we'd have at least 3 minutes of additional time. They've almost come and gone. And there you have it. John Glavey blows the half-time whistle in the semi-final replay of the Connacht Gold Mayo Senior Club Football Championship. At half-time, Ballintubber lead Castlebar Mitchels by 7 points to 5.
There are some things you don't expect to find in a tub. Like deliciously creamy, real butter. And there are some things you don't expect to find in real butter. Like half the fat. So, we really can have it all. Connacht Gold. Real creamy butter. Half the fat.
And it's half time here at Elverys. And it's half time here at Elverys MacHale Park, and another tight encounter between Ballintubber and Castlebar.
Yeah, it's a good game. I have to say it's a thoroughly enjoyable. Castlebar Mitchels opened up very brightly, 2 points up. They looked very sharp and very focused. Lost their way a little bit then midway through the second half, and Ballintubber had a purple patch. But the last 10 minutes, Ballintubber looked very, very classy. They finished very, very strongly. Alan Dillon, the old wise man on the Ballintubber team, who was playing a kind of a sweeper role at one stage there, but up he pops about 30 yards out to kick a wonderful point like he can and he has done for years. But Ballintubber just about deservedly in front by 2 points, and Castlebar Mitchels are not playing with any fluency. You know, the big star player for Ballintubber last year obviously was Jim O'Connor. Castlebar Mitchels have recognised that, and they have deployed Paddy Durkin on. Both of them have kind of nullified one another. Barry Moran, who played an orthodox kind of forward role for the first half last weekend, he's out playing around middle of the field, not having a huge influence in the game. Donny Vaughan, who played orthodox midfield the last day, he's back playing cornerback on Stephen O'Malley. Lots of little changes going on in the place, and a little bit of, I suppose, gamesmanship going on. But yeah, Ballintubber 2 points ahead, and Castlebar Mitchels are not playing, as I say, with any great class or style or fluency. They're trying obviously at all times to get Neil Douglas on the ball, and they find it very difficult because it's anytime the ball breaks down, or the play breaks down, that is, Ballintubber automatically swamp their defence with numbers, and there's no movement, very little movement inside. David Stenson is playing out around the midfield. But I tell you, if you're looking, if you're a Castlebar supporter out there, you'll be a little bit concerned. I'm a little bit concerned for them. Ballintubber 2 points ahead and playing well and playing with great confidence.
And I suppose, what do you think they're saying there at half time in the Castlebar dressing room? I suppose, they're 2 points down now at half time, and what will they do now to knock it up?
Yeah, they're very tentative. Like, I mean, they've got, to use a phrase, a rugby parlance, they've got to get by the gain line. Like, I mean, there's a lot of lateral movement, a lot of lateral hand passing. Somebody's got to take the ball on. Like, I mean, I this year I've watched Castlebar Mitchels play. Like, I mean, they won all their games, I think, by at least 9 points up to this point, last weekend, that is. And for the first time, they're being really pressed, and they're being pressed hard by a very, very wise and capable Ballintubber team. Like, I mean, the big star players here are Killian and obviously Jeremy at the middle of the field. But they're not really having a huge influence. But up pops the likes of Gary Loftus from cornerback and kicks a wonderful point from play. And Jason Gibbons, who I know the Ballintubber people were disappointed with his performance last day, but he's getting around the park and has kicked a wonderful point from play as well. And I think Brian Walsh arguably scored the point of the game. A great vision by Killian, hit a long pass in over the top, and he won the race. I thought Paddy Durkin, the right man, is getting back on him, but he couldn't prevent a very, very good score. But Ballintubber are right in this game, and you'd have to say, if you're a Ballintubber man, you'd be quite confident right now. But Castlebar are not playing; they're not really playing. Are they capable of improving in the second half? I don't know. If I was manager of that Castlebar Mitchels team, I'd be kind of give them a kick up the ass. It might be a little bit too late for that now, but they're not playing well, Niamh.
And I suppose, what players could they bring in now from half time? Fresh legs. What fresh players could they bring in now at half time?
Yeah, unfortunately, from a Castlebar Mitchels point of view, my own son pulled a hamstring on Wednesday night, and he tells me Fergal Durkin, who hasn't played really for the last number of months. I met him earlier on this afternoon. He's out injured. He's not available. Ryan Collins is another, but a guy that won a minor A championship here a couple of years ago. I happened to be involved by chance with the Mitchells minors, a guy called Gavin Durkin. He's a first cousin of the two boys, James and Paddy. He's a fabulous footballer. I mean, but he's a corner forward, maybe full forward, can get on ball in there. But I mean, the way the game is played, it's very, very difficult to get him on board, because Ballintubber now 2 points ahead. It's a big lead, because last weekend we saw it was so difficult to get scores on the board. Here we are, 7-5. It's going to be difficult, but for the likes of Gavin Durkin, a young guy, to go in and turn the game in Mitchell's favour. But I'd be concerned if I was a Mitchell's manager, because the depth is not there, despite the perceptions out there. Everyone thinks that Castlebar Mitchels have quality and talent all over the pitch. They don't. So it's a problem for them. And I suppose from a Ballintubber point of view, they don't have too many on the bench either.
I suppose, it's another tight encounter here, like last weekend, and the conditions, I suppose. Do you think the conditions are playing any factor here today? I know it's not much of a breeze, but it's wet out there.
Yeah, I have to say the conditions were perfect. I know there was a pitch inspection at 3 o'clock this afternoon. I felt the game wouldn't go ahead. We had torrential rain here all morning and last night, and but right now we've got a very mild evening. Conditions are absolutely perfect. I'm looking up there at the tricolour. It will favour Ballintubber in the second half, and you would say that, probably looking at the breeze there as I am now, it might be a 1 point advantage, maybe 2, but Castlebar Mitchels are in trouble, playing against a very slight breeze. But look, conditions won't be a factor, and nobody can turn around and say, listen, if the conditions were different, we might have won the game. Whoever's going to go on and win the game. But no, conditions are absolutely perfect. Not the same atmosphere as the last day. I know what it is. There is a nice crowd here, but it's not rocking and buzzing like I expected it would be. Maybe, I don't know what it is about, but yeah, look, I'm really looking forward to the second half. I think we'll have a very, very good game in the second half.
And we'll finish up now. Thanks very much, John, and we'll bring you back now to the ad for Connacht Gold, and then back to Mike.
Well, no, the last 5 minutes very sloppy, Barry.
And you're welcome back. It's half time here at MacHale Park in Castlebar, and if you've been watching since the very start, you'll know by now we have been treated to a really, really good game so far. Kevin Filan of Castlebar Mitchels, your team, the Mitchells, 2 behind, 7-5 Ballintubber lead. How would you assess the first half from a Mitchells perspective? I mean, it was the real mixed bag, wasn't it?
Yeah, very much so. Started off, I thought, really well. I thought we got the team set up better today than we had the last day. Kicked off really well, scored the 2 opening points. Then we're a bit sloppy during the middle part. Then kicked 3 in a row. But the last 5 minutes, we've been very, very sloppy, and just, you know what I mean, simple little things around indiscipline. Donny giving a free away, or giving a free that we had, it turned out to be a hot ball. Barry's got turned over twice. It's led to 2 scores from Ballintubber, so you'd be slightly worried. Ballintubber just seem to be a little more up for it. There seems a bit more appetite and hunger about Ballintubber than there is about Castlebar Mitchels at the moment. Dougie not firing, scores, you know, we're very dependent on James to be winning the ball out here and taking the scores on it. Can't see where the other scores are coming from. Danny Kirby needs to get into it. Yeah, I'd say there'll be pretty honest discussions in the dressing room at half time.
I was watching Currafin last Sunday in the Galway quarter final, and at half time they were level with Carlostrand, but during the course of the second half they brought in some big guns, they brought in some frontliners and some impact subs, and they ended up pulling away to win by 5-6 points. But that isn't as much of an option for the Mitchells, because apart from anything else, we were just chatting about it before the game, 2 of the subs have had to drop out tonight. Johnny Mahan gone and Ryan Collins gone, both with hamstring injuries, and that leaves Decky Shaw and Benji Smith a little short.
Yeah, correct. So if you're looking up front, you're really only looking at Antwa Boyle, maybe to come in, Connor Stenson, Caleb Kine. You know they're not real out and out scorers either. You know, they haven't a proven pedigree at senior football, so it's a worry. It is a worry, but there's fellas out here. There's enough fellas in the Mitchells team between Danny Kirby and Barry Moore that have played intercounty football that need to really step up and start leading. Donny Vaughan, for me, has been particularly very quiet in the first half today. We need to get him more on ball and drive him forward. It's worrying to see what's going on at the moment, and just the way they're so slow moving the ball forward as well. Saying that, credit has to go to Ballintubber. Ballintubber are set up very well. We've just been talking off mic around the where the players are packed here. Ballintubber are putting an awful lot of players in the middle section of this pitch. Same with Mitchells, but it's leaving 1-on-1s and 2s inside. You saw what happened when Barry got turned over. Quick ball in. So that's the threat. If you turn a ball over in the middle of the field, there's probably goals on.
Jackie, we'll just talk to you briefly before we get stuck back into the second half. Philo made the point there, just Ballintubber's approach, the way Kevin Johnson has set them up. Their forward line are rotating a lot more than they were last weekend. They're packing that middle third, and it's interesting the amount of times we've seen Jason Gibbons, Alan Dillon and Cillian O'Connor playing almost in the half back line, starting attacks. It's all very different from Ballintubber tonight.
Yeah, well, I suppose we saw after last week that if the Mitchells do get half a chance, they will open you up front. So we have to clutter it up. We have to make it as compact as possible at the back and get the ball to those good lads who are actually very good on the ball. Cillian, Alan Dillon, they see a pass that other guys don't see, and that's why they are rotating. As I said a while ago there, I hope Alan has the legs to get back in front. He's cute enough to get his little breather here and there, but at the moment we have to keep it that way, because if Dougie gets the ball up front, or James Durkin, they will skin us. So we know we have to keep it tight, and while we stay in the game, it's a long way to go yet, to the half an hour to go, we've got to stay focused all the time. Jason is playing very well. Diarmuid, for some reason, he's not getting on the ball as much as he was the last day. That's maybe to do with Patrick. Durkin, Diarmuid maybe is just trying to keep Patrick out of the game, which is not easy to do. We need to get Diarmuid on the ball more, and once we do that, I feel that we will push on.
Well, Ballintubber are out for the second half. Mitchells will join them shortly, and we'll hear from John Mahan in just a moment. But first, here's a word from our sponsors. And you're welcome back. Mitchell's back out for the start of this second half. Quick chance to say a couple of quick hellos. I know James O'Connell is watching us online in Colorado in the United States of America this Saturday night here in Mayo. And also I must wish a very happy birthday to Conor Mulrennan in Ballyhonus. I think he's just home from Mass, and I'm sure first thing he did was get online, get connected, because John Mahan, he's a big fan of yours. Turned 30 today. Do you remember when you turned 30?
Of course I do. It's only about 7 years ago. What are you on about, Mike? Give me a break here.
We're off, we're away. Second half is up and running, And it is Ballintubber wearing all white this evening who lead Castlebar Mitchels by 7 points to 5. No breeze we're talking about. If there is any puff at all, it's at Ballintubber's backs. And we're going to find out in the next half an hour or so just what the county champions Castlebar Mitchels are made of. They've been in a few tight corners, a few scrapes these last few years, and they've always managed to find a way. They've always managed to get it done one way or another. But now they're 2 down and chasing Ballintubber as Rory O'Connor tries to slip it through to Stephen O'Malley. Ball just slipped away from him, and Rory Byrne it is who will tidy it up. It made an awful lot of rain right across Mayo earlier today. Castlebar was no exception. It's left us with a very greasy pitch out there, and every time a ball is delivered at pace, once it hits the ground, it's gone. Good to see the half-time sandwiches have arrived, Jackie, a minute into the second half.
You cannot be talking and eating at the same time, so we'll let John Mahan do that. He's multitasker.
Well, if only we had the second camera right now, John Mahan. The new Offaly manager, fresh from his appearance on the national broadcaster on Thursday night, back with us on Mayo GAA TV this evening, and currently making short work of a salad sandwich. Danny Kirby, away over to the central channel. Owen O'Reilly, Vaughan, pop back to Stenson, took the hit from Coleman. Here's Barry Moran up on that right corner forward position, and Barry Moran with an absolute peach. Well, he kicked a few keepers here last weekend, Philo, and you were singing his praises, his shooting technique, his balance, and we have to do it again. He's just kicked Mitchels back to within 1.
Yeah, nice score from Barry. Good play from Mitchels. We're patient. Ray O'Malley recycles it. Danny across the pitch to Donald Vaughan. Little 1-2, and Barry kicks a lovely score. Yeah, we needed that score psychologically back to a point.
So 7 points to 6. Ballintubber lead. Kick out from Brendan Welch. There was a push. Jason Gibbons felt it free. By the way, I'm sure you are wondering what happens if it finishes level after an hour again tonight. Well, the short answer is extra time. And if they're still level at the end of extra time, we are going to need a replay. Just check that out at half time. And our friends in the county board telling us we would have to do it all over again. Diarmuid O'Connor for Ballintubber. Paddy Durkin it is who's forcing Diarmuid to think on his feet. Did well. Lovely sidestep over there. That was Damien Coleman, I think, who just did really well to get out of a tight scrape. Now Gary Loftus, and Loftus galloping up the field goes to ground. He's had a real new lease of life again, Gary Loftus, this year, Jackie, hasn't he? Because he was so good for so long. Then I think injuries maybe fell out of love with the game a little bit, went back playing a bit of junior, but back to his best again. Yeah,
but like us all, he's a sportsman. He likes playing AstroTurf or regular soccer or anything that you like. So he got hurt playing a bit of AstroTurf at the tail end of last year, and that put him back a long way, and he is prone to put on a little pound or two when he's away from the football field, and then when he does come back, it takes him a good while to get back. He's at this time of year, well, this is the time to be coming right, and touch wood, he got hurt last week here. We thought that he would have been struggling for tonight.
Here's another man that we thought was hurt coming into this game, and Cillian O'Connor just knocks over his 4th point of this semi-final replay. Well, if we find out afterwards, John Mahan, that Cillian O'Connor is not at 100%, I'd say James Horan in here behind us will be a happy man.
Yeah, I have to say that's a classic, typical of Cillian. He's one of the best in the business, and that was a monumental score from about 45 metres out. He's the best in the business, Mike.
Really is an ice cool free taker. He's done it in MacHale Park, he's done it in Crow Park, and he's just kicked Ballintubber into a 2-point lead. Again, apologies, we don't have the score back for you for this second half. That's an issue with the broadband service here this evening. Ayr having problems right across their network, right across the country. Good to see the clock back though. Philo, it's significantly reduced your workload in the second half, the fact the clock is back.
I'm done at least 80% now, Mike. 80% of my job is done.
You can look forward to some even more sensational analysis now from Philo. He can concentrate fully on the game in front of him. But Mitchels have gone 2 down. They were 2 behind at half time as well. and we were all half expecting, Philo, this big burst, this big third quarter burst from Castlebar. Hasn't happened yet.
Hasn't happened yet, no, and Sean Conlon has given away 2 frees. Killian not too far away from where he was the last one. You don't want to be going 3 points down against Ballintubber. They're the masters of defending a lead like that, and they will block up all the channels and force Mitchells to go around in circles. So interested to see will Killian kick this one. He's been 100% so far.
Interesting to see. There's nobody making any short runs here. Nobody making a decoy run or a dummy run. Killian's going to knock in though an up and under. 2 or 3 players jumped into the air together, runs in behind them, and look at this, Alan Dillon still going strong, very tight to that corner flag. Alan Dillon, the man who was fouled for that late free in the drawn game. Don't quite sure if we'll ever know exactly, did he fall or was he pushed. Maybe we'll get it out of Dillo one of these nights. Ballintubber leading Castlebar Mitchels 8 points to 6. We're in the 7th minute of the second half of this Connacht Gold Mayo Senior Club Football Championship semi-final replay. Ger McDonough, the Mitchells captain, thought about taking off there, then decided against it again. Now Ray O'Malley, Paddy Durkin. Well, Ballintubber have taken a good hard look at the Mitchells DVDs from the Claremorris game and their group games as well, and they just block Durkin up every chance they get. This time it's Neil Douglas that they crowd out and stop in his tracks. And it's been a noticeable feature, John, tonight, hasn't it, that those danger men, the guys who make Mitchells tick, more often than not, when they get on the ball, they're swarmed, they're just surrounded.
I have to say, great credit due to the Ballintubber management. Their homework done. They are crowding out that space in front of Neil Douglas. He is the big threat for Castlebar Mitchells, and he's been on the periphery of the game, not because he's not making runs. He's darting left and darting right, but so difficult to get good quality ball into him. And I have to say, they're doing a great job in marking him, and I say crowding him out. And when you nullify Neil Douglas in this Castlebar attack, where the score is going to come from? Because there's very few besides.
I see the Brafey GA Club chairman Jerry Burke down in front of me making notes. He had a brilliant view of that. We had as well, off the floor, Neil Douglas with a sweet strike, and Castlebar Mitchells back within 1 of Ballintubber again. 8 points to 7 now. The challengers lead the champions, and Philo, we were right behind that. It was like being at the Aviva watching Johnny Sexton.
I was going to think it was more like the Masters, a tee shot from Rory McIlroy. He just pinged that straight over the bar, and tonight, a wet pitch and kicking a ball from the ground like that, it's special skill from Dougie. Great score.
Kick out caught by Barry Moran. That's what he's in there to do. Free against Ray O'Malley for over carrying. John Glavey, I doubt very much he'll go to mix for 1 tonight, John, if Mitchells don't come out of here with the result, because Castlebar are not happy with him.
I have to say, and I'll be honest now, I think John has done a fantastic job up to now. I think that was a definite foul, and a foul in favour of Mitchells, and he's given he's punished there with Ray O'Malley for an overcarry. I think it was wrong. He got it wrong. He recognised that himself. He probably knows that the crowd have told him so.
Yeah, certainly Mitchells there furious with that decision. Castlebar have made a change, by the way. It's Aidan Welsh who has come off, and in is number 19, Anthony O'Boyle. Made a big impression off the bench in the drawn game. But Aidan Welsh just didn't get going tonight, Philo.
No, it didn't get going. I thought he thought he started well. Made a crucial interception there when in the first half, and Gerard ploughed straight into him. Maybe he's feeling a bit of the after effects of that. But look, Mitchells need to shake it up a little bit. You know, I think Donny's probably going to go out midfield now, Donny Vaughan. So let's see what happens. Lovely
chip lift by Diarmuid O'Connor. Didn't even need to bend his back. It was like watching him out walking the dog Cooper there up the road near the pitch in Ballintubber. Casual, cool as you like. Nearly 10 minutes gone in the second half. Ballintubber lead Castlebar 8 points to 7. That scoreboard away over on the far side of the field, it's just lighting up the night. Here's O'Connor again. He just couldn't get that ball under control, and Ray O'Malley, with a little bit of help from Paddy Durkin, just bumped him and knocked him out of his stride, and Castlebar Mitchells have got the ball back. David Stenson, look where he is, the number 15, back in the half back line. It's that sort of a night. You have to go where you're needed. Everybody tracking everybody else. There's the distinctive figure of Owen O'Reilly. Remember, if Castlebar win this and they play Brafey in the final, yet again the O'Reilly brothers will be on opposite sides. Tommy for Brafey and this man Owen for Castlebar Mitchels. He's a long way from home now, Owen O'Reilly. He's a long way up the field. He'll be starting to get a little lightheaded. Now Shawnee Conlon pings it inside. Lovely delivery. He's picked out Hopkins. Back to James Durkin. And James Durkin wide on his own side. Well, that looked all ends up a score. And this is the cue for Jamesy Finnerty to come in. Now, we talk about wheels and pace. Well, this guy can move, Jackie.
He can move. He's replacing Alan Plunkett, which I didn't expect that now, but maybe Alan is not quite on his game this evening. That's an unusual one. But yeah, Jamesy has pace, but the no good giving him 50-50 ball. He has to get the right type of ball.
I was very impressed with him, Mike. I was very impressed with him last weekend, Mike. He came on, he scored a great point, but he was very, very busy and I'm just wondering what Castlebar Mitchels are capable of picking him up, because there isn't huge pace in the Castlebar defence when you take out the likes of Paddy Durkin.
Well, we're lucky tonight to have one camera given the broadband issues, but I just love right now if we had a player cam, because Cillian O'Connor just a moment ago was standing pretty much right beside the Mitchells management. He was pretty much off the field, out at the right half forward position. And it'll be interesting to see where he pops up once Ballintubber get this move up the field. But Ger McDonough is having to work overtime to keep tabs on Cillian. Here's Diarmuid O'Connor popping it into the space just behind the midfield. Lovely layoff to Dillon. He could sense the pass was coming, makes his move. Stephen O'Malley, another of the teenagers, bounced out of the tackle. It all works out beautifully for O'Malley and Ballintubber, and that's another one. Stephen O'Malley with his first point of the semi-final replay. Ballintubber lead 9-7, and there is no substitute, Jackie Heenahan, for experience, and Alan Dillon used all of his there.
Yes, I'll come back to Stephen O'Malley for a moment. We have to get Stephen on with good quality ball, because he is a confidence player. If he gets a score or two, then either way with it. This could be a turnover for Ballintubber here. They're working awful hard.
They're in scavenging. John Glavey blows the whistle. I think he's not going to be able to settle it. He couldn't figure out who was fouling and who was being fouled, so we'll settle it the old-fashioned way with a hot ball. 13 minutes into the second half. Ballintubber leading Castlebar Mitchels 9 points to 7 in this county semi-final replay. Ball is thrown in, dug out by Cillian O'Connor. Brian Welch, as they tell you, if you bend your back you'll get your free. No free, but he did bend his back and he did get the ball. That's loose for Murray O'Connor. He just switched off. James Durkin, there's a buzz every time he gets it. He's taken down by Kieran Gavin, and Castlebar Mitchels, John Mahan, will be demanding a card for that foul.
Yeah, they will, and they'll probably get it. I don't think we have. Oh, he's hopping the ball. Wow, that's a huge decision. Somebody's obviously Castlebar Mitchels, well, with the tap over free. Somebody's obviously mouthed back to the referee. That's a deplorable reaction from a Mitchels player when the game is so tight. He was going to bring it back to a single point. Now it's a hot ball. Dreadful from a discipline from Mitchels.
And just to make things even more interesting, now John Glavey is going to talk to Kieran Gavin. So Mitchell's free in has been overturned. It's a yellow for Gavin, and it's a hot ball. Jackie Heenahan, where do we start?
I think the man above is looking after us in that situation there. I suppose we all are prone to the odd outburst, and that got the Mitchell lads into trouble. It was a tap over, simple little free for them. Give us a break. Let's hope we can win this one.
So hot ball, and Mitchell's go from a position where they had a free in front of the goal to they have to work that bit harder. Barry Moore did really well there initially. Here's Paddy Durkin. There'll be some roar if this drops over, and it hasn't. Brendan Welch gathers it, and away go Ballintubber. Rory O'Connor, the man who made the mistake initially a moment ago, down the line to his brother Cillian. We told you he's going right, left and centre. He's covering so much ground. Oh, that's very high. Cillian O'Connor is down, and he's not going to be getting up anytime soon. And now John Glavey has another decision to make, John.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the far side of the pitch, but it looks like a definitely yellow card. Cillian appeared to be taken out of the play there. Yeah, but Mitchell's are in trouble, Mike. They're 2 points down. They're an opportunity there, bringing back a single point. They're not playing well. There's no fluency in their approach play. I think they're rolling out the bench here. I know there's another sub. No, there's not actually, but they're very little on the bench. But Mitchells are in serious trouble here. They'll come in here as outrageous favourites, but I tell you what, they haven't played anything like favourites in this encounter here this evening.
15 minutes to go. Rory O'Connor has got nothing more left to give, and Milo Kelly is in. And Mitchells are going to make a change as well. Neil Lydon is going to replace Danny Kirby. Cillian O'Connor is still not back up on his feet. I can't be sure if John Glavey showed a card there to Ger McDonough. I don't think he did. And in fact, he's given a free to Castlebar Mitchels.
We're bamboozled here by that decision. We thought it was a definite free into Ballintubber, but whatever he saw, I didn't see it. But
blank expressions and a lot of shoulders being shrugged all around me. And I think if you're watching at home, you probably know where the lads are coming from, because that did look like a foul on Cillian O'Connor. But yeah, maybe the linesman on that other side, who is Paul Lydon, saw something we didn't see. Now here's a chance for Anthony O'Boyle, and over it goes. Well, is that a big momentum shifter? Time will tell. It's now 9 points to 8. Ballintubber lead. And O'Boyle again, Philo, when he got the chance, held his nerve.
Yeah, lovely score from Anto. Patient build up. James Durkin wins it back, moves across the other side, and a lovely strike from Anto. Shows he's confident.
Great take in the middle of the field by the big Mitchells number 9, Donny Vaughan. Ballintubber lead, 9 points to 8. We're into the final quarter on a lovely night in Castlebar. Thankfully, the heavy rain has disappeared. No sign of Storm Callum either. Neil Lydon trying to keep it in. A couple of the Ballintubber selectors filling in as linesmen. Kevin Kennelly, I think, though, has got control of the situation. It's not a line ball, and now Mitchells will try and break down the middle. Nobody at home at centre back. Here's Vaughan again, trying to get that running game going. Douglas under pressure from Brian Murphy. Snatches at the shot. Good pressure from Murphy, and that's away and wide. He's not a player, Jackie, that gets a huge amount of headlines, Brian Murphy, but he is a very, very good footballer.
He's very, very sticky. He's very very pacey. I know it looks like he's taking short little steps, but he covers the ground very, very fast. At different stages over the years, we would say, well, it's wonder he didn't get a call up at some stage for a Mayo team. Then you see him in his civvies and he looks so skinny, you say, oh sure, he get blown away. But as he can show, he can hold his own against most guys.
Tonight again he's given the job of marking Neil Douglas and making a very good fist of it. Again, there's a fierce scrap for possession in the middle of the field. Ballintubber 9 points, Castlebar Mitchells 8 points. Neil Lydon crosses the 45, lamping it in towards the edge of the D, taken by Douglas and fired over the bar. It could so easily have nestled in the roof of the net. It flies over, bottom line, Philo. Level again. A
great ball from Neil Lydon. He's made a difference, Lido, since he's come on. He's got on 2 or 3 balls. He's beginning to dictate now the last 2 or 3 minutes, but a really good take from Neil Douglas, and a great score. Yeah, could have been a goal.
That battle, John, between Murphy and Douglas in there on the edge of the square, it's a right one.
Yeah, it's fascinating, Mike, but Douglas showed his class here. That was a wonderful score. It's the way he won the ball initially, but the way he spun and unleashed a great shot. Another occasion might be in the back of the net, but a wonderful score from Douglas.
Alan Dillon there leaping into the air. That will have caught the eye of the Mayo over 40 selectors, I'm sure, if John Pat Sheridan is here. Now Dillon not quite ready for over 40s just yet, but he's getting there. Great take. Sets Ballintubber away. Jamesy Finnerty back to Diarmuid O'Connor. Oh, he's going to wind up. Just look at him. Slips just short. Oh, it's spilled and caught and almost carried over the line by Rory Byrne. Well, that would have been one of those what happened next moments. Diarmuid O'Connor's shot, Rory Byrne's fumble, and Rory Byrne recovered in the nick of time to save the day, to save his blushes, and to leave it 9 points apiece. He's talking to the umpires down there too. I'm not quite sure, John, is he not happy with the tackle, or is he not happy with the ground, or is he not happy with himself?
I think he's not happy with himself, but look at, he retrieves the situation. He spilled the ball. It was an innocuous enough shot. It dropped short from Diarmuid. Should have gathered it, but look at, it didn't end up in the back of the net from a Mitchell's point of view, so there'll be no slagging tonight to Mick Burns if Mitchell's win it.
Well, it's action packed, it's end to end. Here's Stenson, man in after it was Douglas, and another inch or two and he would have got there. Now he's collided with Brian Murphy, and the Ballintubber corner back is going to need a little bit of attention. 9 points apiece, deadlock, 10 minutes to go, and John Mahan will take another look at what nearly happened, where it nearly all went wrong for Rory Byrne.
Yeah, I can't recall. Was that Jimmer's first shot on goal? I thought it might have been drifting wide. Jimmer went up, Rory went up to gather the ball, and it just spilled out of his hands. Nearly crept over the line. It would have been just a disaster from a Mitchell's perspective. But Rory, who has had a brilliant campaign right throughout the championship and has done very well there tonight, but thankfully from his perspective that ball did end up in the back of the net. Jackie, you wouldn't have taken a goal of that nature, would you?
We would take anything we get at this stage. Killian didn't complain about it, and Killian would have been the closest man to it, so he must have known it wasn't over the line.
Brian Murphy up on his feet again, but now Mitchells have a player injured. John, we didn't get a chance to ask you before the game who you thought would win, so with 9 minutes to go on the sides level, we may as well ask you now.
Mike, I'm sure Philo and Jackie here beside me will agree, it's a toss of a coin. Like, I mean, whoever is just that score ahead and go down the home stretch, but there's nothing between them. Neither side, I have to say, are playing brilliant football. Like, I mean, you'd be disappointed if you're a neutral in watching the game. It's not great, it's haphazard and a lot of hand passing. There's no real fluency to the game, but at 9 points each, deadlocked, I just think Mitchell's they haven't played well enough to win it, but look, Mitchell's would take a 1 point victory here. I think whoever wins it'll be just a single score.
Game has restarted. Both Brian Murphy and Shane Hopkins have been worked on and patched up. They don't want to go off at this stage. We are in for a roller coaster last 8 or 9 minutes. 9 points for Ballintubber, 9 points for Castlebar Mitchels. They could not be any closer. Here's Miles Kelly soloing out towards the 45. There'll be no gig in Westport tonight, Jackie.
There'll be a gig for Milo someplace, you can be sure. Somebody has to pay the bills.
If this game goes on much longer, it could be upstairs and on Sportland. Ray O'Malley pulls on it first time, falls right down on top of the head of the Mitchells man, and that's Neil Lydon, who took it, gave it, takes it back again. Thought against the pass to James Durkin though, and instead turns infield. Neil Lydon hangs on, very experienced player. Ray O'Malley, that was a 50-50, Paul, a hospital pass, breaks kindly. Here's Paddy Durkin, and Paddy Durkin with the biggest score he's kicked in a while to kick Mitchell's 10 points to 9 up. Finish line not quite in sight, Philo, but it's getting there.
Yeah, great score. I said it already, Neil Lydon has come in and he's beginning to dictate the play. Little 1-2s here and there, bit of experience showing. Neil Douglas got clobbered there. It was a dodgy pass in from way, but it worked out. But what a score from Paddy off the left.
Paddy Durkin, his dad is sitting just over to our right here, a passionate Mitchells fan, a passionate fan of Paddy. Here he is again, and indeed his brother James. Lovely ball. Now Paddy Durkin is starting to play. Here's James Durkin, here's Shane Hopkins, and there is a 2-point lead for Castlebar Mitchels. Total football from the county champions. One touch off the shoulder, and Shane Hopkins of all people with the finish.
It's a huge lead. Like, I mean, but Philo, I agree with Philo. I mean, that man that has been introduced, Lydon, has turned the game in favour of Castlebar. Very experienced player, but just simple little touches and wonderful score there, top class.
Ballintubber have fallen 2 points behind. Now they need Diarmuid O'Connor and the other big guns to start to play. O'Connor is under serious pressure from Owen O'Reilly, who just wouldn't give him an inch, wouldn't give him a moment. And because he got stuck in him again after the free was awarded, ball will be moved in an extra 13 metres. I think John Glavey might have been taking long steps there, Jackie. He's brought it in a lot closer than 13, but we know the point he was trying to make.
Nowadays I think it's up to the referee's interpretation. He can bring it as far as he likes, I think. We're looking maybe to get that one there, a bit unfair maybe on Owen Riley, or so tight to the close or to the sideline that no place for Diarmuid to go anyway.
So 11 points to 9. Mitchell's lead Ballintubber. This is a big kick for Cillian O'Connor, but when you're Cillian O'Connor, they're all big kicks, be it for club or county. All eyes on Cillian O'Connor, and practice makes perfect. Swings it over. 11 points to 10. They're like two heavyweight boxers, and let's be honest, they are the two heavyweights in the Mayo Senior Club Football Championship. Nobody wants to go out tonight. Everybody wants to go to the final against Brafey next weekend. Mitchell's 11, Ballintubber 10. Now John Glavey is in the thick of it again, and it is a free to the Mitchells.
Yeah, that's Shane Hopkins as well in the last second half. The amount of breaking ball he's won, and dirty ball. Sorry, Mike.
Douglas spins out of the tackle. Oh boy, Hopkins has gone down. No free, or is it? John Glavey now comes in and now puts up his hand and now gives Shane Hopkins a free. Hopkins has come alive, Philo, in the last 10 minutes.
We're just talking about it. Was him that won that free. Like he was one of the furthest men away from that breaking ball. He dived on it like his life depended on it. He takes forward and he gets on the end of that.
So it's a free into Castlebar Mitchels, and if it goes over, they will be 2 points in front. We're into the last 5 minutes of this semi-final replay. Well, it has been one of those nights when every time somebody attacks, anything could happen, and there again, it looked for a moment like a goal possibly was on, but Ballintubber retreated, got back, protected the goal and gave away the free. And David Stenson has this chance to swing over Mitchell's 12th point of the night. Everybody on the edge of their seats. That's a 2-point lead for Mitchell's, 12-10. And when you consider they were 2 down at half time, John, it's quite the turnaround.
Yeah, they've been very, very good in the last 7 or 8 minutes. But a couple of Shane Hopkins have been wonderful. But there's a great bit of class with Neil Douglas. The ball is sticking to him at full forward, and he and primarily has been the star for me there tonight with just simple things, doing it very, very effectively and very well.
Of course, it's not over yet. Ballintubber, we mentioned it last week, time and again, their conditioning, their stamina, their overall quality, it means they will stay in this game right to the very end. And all in all, between injury time and everything, we could have 7 or 8 minutes yet still to play. Dillon chasing after this, but Owen O'Reilly comes across like a good flanker and just slid in to win it, push the ball out over the line. Possession to Ballintubber. Dillon knocking it towards the near post. Rory Byrne jumped, Ger McDonough jumped, and between the two of them they've given away a 45. Pat Kearns is online, one of many watching the coverage this evening. Compliments all round, lads, for ye. And Jane O'Connor is back online again in the United States of America and has her party planned, ready. And I'm sure, John Mahan, at this stage that party is in full flow.
Yeah, it is, but where's she from?
She's a Ballintubber supporter.
Well, I tell you, just keep the champagne on ice for another minute. If Killian nails this, there's a 2 minutes. I'm just looking at the clock here. There'll be 2 minutes left, and plus about 4 or 5 minutes injury time. I expect of loads of time. Don't rule out the draw.
Mitchell's 2 up as Killian O'Connor steps up to this. 12-10. The champions lead their nearest neighbours, their biggest rivals. Killian slips, dangerous. Rory Byrne misses it, and it's gone out for a 45. Well, it's not the first time when the ball drops in around the small square, Philo. There's hearts and mouths, there's a bit of panic.
Yeah, Rory came for that. I didn't think he needed to come for it, to be honest. I think the ball went off Ger McDonough. Like Mitchell's lads are questioning it. They feel like that it may have come off one of the Ballintubber lads. But look, it's another 50. Probably a better position for Killian. But look, a wet night as well, Mike. These 50s are hard kick on a wet night. You know, it's if he gets it, it'll be a great score.
Take 2. I see his big brother Porrick is watching from the sideline. He's about to come in. Porrick O'Connor would restore the O'Connor count out there to 3. Rory's in the bench. So Killian O'Connor taking a good long run up. If he hits it on the sweet spot, there won't be a problem. It's going to drop short. It's flicked. Saved by Rory Byrne after, I think it was Diarmuid O'Connor's flick. But Rory Byrne in the right place at the right time, and it all works out for Castlebar Mitchels. But when that ball dropped short and was flicked towards goal, again, Jackie, we were wondering, you were hoping and praying, of course, the net was going to bulge.
Yeah, but maybe just like for most of the game today, breaking ball, the Mitchells have won practically all the breaking ball around midfield, in around the goal that time. We haven't been just sharp enough in those situations.
Still, Castlebar Mitchels leading Ballintubber 12 points to 10. We're into the last 30 seconds of normal time. We're just waiting to see the fourth official tell us what's left in terms of stoppage time. But that change now is made by Kevin Johnson, and it's Porrick O'Connor for Stephen O'Malley. We're going to have 3 minutes of additional time. Will it be enough time for Ballintubber to find a way back? Will it be enough time for Mitchels to copper fasten and cement their place in yet another county final. Advantage Ballintubber. Pádraig O'Connor, first touch for him. Nice ball down the line to Killian. Just like they were at home in that field beside the house in Cranmore. Pádraig O'Connor again. Milo Kelly is moving into position. So too is this man, Plunkett. Gives it to Diarmuid O'Connor on the edge of the D. Ballintubber need him, and Diarmuid O'Connor delivers. Wonderful score from Diarmuid O'Connor. 12 points to 11. Philo, you can never say never.
No, and Castlebar will be disappointed. Dexter will be very disappointed with that. We had the ball up here in a forward position, and we brought it into a tackle, and Julie got turned over. They should have just kept playing the ball around, but now it's back in the melting pot again, Mike.
Who knows? Extra time may be needed just yet. We're into injury time. We were told we'd have at least 3 minutes. The Mitchells lead Ballintubber 12 points to 11. Now that white wave is sweeping down towards the old bacon factory goal. Cillian O'Connor, man who wants it, is Kieran Gavin. Could he be the hero this week? Kieran Gavin still playing minor, of course. Back to Pádraig O'Connor. A while now since Pádraig played minor. Works with the guards in Westport. Now Diarmuid O'Connor heading towards the terrace on the far side. Flick by Killian to Damien Coleman. Diarmuid back towards Coleman again, and the long arm of Ger McDonough, the Castlebar captain, stretched out there like a shovel on a JCB. John Mahoney just stretched out that big right hand to scoop the ball back and to save the day. 90 seconds to go. Mitchell's 1 up.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, that's a wise old player. Ger has been superb for the Mitchells club the last number of years, but yeah, certainly saved prevented a score there, no question about it.
Gary Loftus, he was up on his tippy toes there. He was at full stretch, the corner back, but he got there, and it keeps the ball alive. It keeps the ball in Ballintubber hands. About a minute to go. Surely they'll manage to manufacture one more chance. Jamesy Finnerty goes over. Donnie Newcomb it was who tackled him free in. It's Cillian O'Connor time, Jackie.
It is, but if you remember Crow Park, lads, that's the little spot out there. If you remember, like, don't be counting any chickens yet.
Jackie Heenahan brings up Crow Park in the All-Ireland just at this moment, as if the tension wasn't unbearable enough. 40 seconds, less than 40. The clock is rolling all the time. And Castlebar Mitchells lead Ballintubber 12 points to 11. I think we can safely say if Killian nails this, you better make yourselves comfortable, because we will have extra time surely. He's just between the 13 and the 20. He's on the 20 now. He stole a yard. It's over. Cillian O'Connor yet again has done it again. He is some man for one man, John. Level again. 12 points apiece.
I mean, class. I mean, look, if you want a guy taking a free, a pressure free in that scenario, there's only one man that county can do it. There it is. Yeah, we're facing down into extra time again.
John Glavey says, let's go for 20 minutes more. It's finished in a draw. Ballintubber 12 points, Castlebar Mitchells 12 points. Two teams that are tired head down the tunnel. They'll take a brief break and then they'll turn around and we'll all go again. First though, let's catch our breath and hear from our sponsors.
There are some things you don't expect to find in a tub. Like deliciously creamy, real butter. And there are some things you don't expect to find in real butter. Like half the fat. So, we really can have it all. Connacht Gold. Real creamy butter. Half the fat.
And I'm joined here by John. Another intense game.
Come out, both of them are obviously taking a few minutes of an extra breather inside the dressing room. Yeah, it's difficult to know what either manager can say. Like, I mean, obviously monitoring who's fresh, who's cramping up. I know it's last Saturday evening here, in the last couple of minutes, there's a couple of players on both sides cramping. Yeah, the pitch is rather heavy, so that might be a factor. And who is the greater depth? They have more or less emptied what they would consider the finishers, the match finishers. There's no such thing as a sub anymore. I think Jim Gavin, the double manager, has referred to his subs as finishers. I wonder who the finishers are in the Ballintubber team. They have 3 or 4 subs on as well. Jason Gibbons is another guy that a lot of maybe viewers and listeners might be interested in. He kicked a wonderful point. I thought he was going to really sparkle. I watched him in the championship in a couple of games this year. He was really playing impressively. Disappointed last weekend, but hasn't really fired here tonight. But then none of the so-called inter-county players. Donald Vaughan is another inter-county footballer. He has played more or less as an orthodox corner back on Stephen O'Malley, albeit Stephen O'Malley has now been replaced. But he's another that really hasn't fired. It's a big year for Donald. I'm a great fan of him. He's a hugely honest player, and everyone felt around the county that his introduction into the in Mitchell's camp would be a telling factor in them getting over the line, maybe to win a county title and go on and win a provincial title. But the Castlebar Mitchels haven't looked like county champions here. The current county champions haven't looked like a team that might threaten a Connacht title. So look, we've a fascinating couple of minutes ahead, and let's see who wins it.
And we have the Connacht Gold ad now.
There are some things you don't expect to find in a tub. Like deliciously creamy, real butter. And there are some things you don't expect to find in real butter. Like half the fat. So, we really can have it all. Connacht Gold. Real creamy butter. Half the fat.
And you're welcome back. The action about to get underway again. It's that was a pretty quick turnaround. I see the catering department has arrived just on cue, just as the second half is just as extra time is about to start. Jackie, we might get you to hold that for a moment. We'll come back to you, as the man says. John, we'll let you catch your breath there. John, of course, chatting with Niamh Kelly during the break before the start of extra time. Philo, do we see any switches, any changes out there?
Nothing's. No, is Aidan Walsh? No, Aidan Walsh is back in. No, nothing stands out, Mike, yet. See, Paddy Durkin is back, centre back. We're underway. Ballintubber playing into the railway end. Cillian O'Connor on the ball.
So 12 points apiece as we start extra time. Ballintubber playing down towards, as Philo called it, the railway goal. Doesn't look like Kevin Johnson or the Mitchells boys have made any changes. That's a Gary Owen to test out Tony Vaughan, spilled, and Owen O'Reilly just arrived in the nick of time to tidy that up. An early tester for that Mitchell's defence. Neil Lydon, he's been so influential since he came on during the second half. Shawnee Conlon moving well since the very start. Runs into two Ballintubber boys, James E. Finnerty and Brian Welch, two of the young guns. Did well. Dylan to Cillian O'Connor. They really are on the same wavelength. Milo Kelly, chance maybe for James E. Finnerty. Shot blocked. Well, Owen O'Reilly, he doesn't know the meaning of the words, Philo. Take a backward step. He just drives out on top of everything.
But interesting to see some of the younger players, Sean Conlon bringing the ball into the tackle and losing it, and then young Finnerty has come on now. He's kicked a wild shot for a point, and he probably that goal was never on. Probably should have popped it back out to Cillian.
So an early chance or two for Ballintubber. None taken. Still 12 points apiece. Neil Lydon again. He just can't get on the ball often enough. Driving through the tackles. Free against Lydon for barging with the ball. John, your thoughts?
Yeah, he did take the ball into traffic, and he played exceptionally well, but at that time he should have let the ball go. Douglas is inside crying out for early ball. Mitchell says if they're going to win this game, they've got to move the ball on a lot quicker than they are.
Lydon just took a moment or two there to get back to his feet as well. Felt the full force of those tackles. Paddy Durkin. Douglas, and again joined at the hip by Brian Murphy. Possession to Ballintubber. Murphy did really well there. Diarmuid O'Connor, quick thinking, spots the run of Brian Welch. Tony Vaughan, it is who gets back, gets a hand in, holds him up, stands him up, and Vaughan caught by Jason Gibbons as he tried to go by him. It's going to be a free out to Castlebar Mitchels, and it might be a card for Gibbons. It's a word in the ear anyway, Jackie.
Yeah, the gentleman in front of me actually blocked my view for a split second, but yeah, he's going to give him a little postcard, I think. Yeah, a little yellow card. Yeah,
Donald Vaughan, Mike, I think I thought he ran a full 60-70 metres to get a tackle in there and dispossessed the Ballintubber man. I thought he showed great class and determination, and he's been a huge asset to Castlebar Mitchels. A lot of people were talking when they saw him transferring from Ballinrobe that Mitchels won't be stopped this year, but he's had a quiet game by his standards, but yet he does a lot of very effective things, and there was an example of it, how the class that he is, getting back and getting in a big tackle.
Well, he's played so little football this year, Donny Vaughan, in comparison to other seasons, out for so long, recovering from hip surgery, and still, I think, not firing on all cylinders, as John Mahan said, but that time there covered a lot of ground to win the ball back, and away we go. Ger McDonough. Ballintubber applying the full court press, putting on the squeeze. Ray O'Malley does well. Remember, these teams playing their second chunk of extra time in 7 days. The bodies must be tired, the minds must be feeling the pinch as well, and still nothing to separate them. And no doubt whoever comes through to meet Brafey in a county final, they will either be battle hardened or they will be leg weary, one or the other. Gary Loftus again does really well, manages to get up off the ground, get up over his man and fist it clear, and here he is once more. He has very little left to learn about cornerback play, Gary Loftus. Brendan Welsh comes out past the 21, links with Diarmuid O'Connor. Paddy Durkin it is who is stalking his every move. We're in the first period of extra time, in case you've come late to this particular party, and we've got a scoreboard up and running again for you. Still level. Kieran Gavin trying to prod it through, picks out his man. Ray O'Malley brings down James E. Finnerty, and if that's not a black card, we may as well pack up and go home, I think, John.
I think he's in trouble here. Ray O'Malley, who was playing quite well, yeah, he's gone. Yeah, young Finnerty, he did very, very well the last day when he came on. He's very busy, he's very quick, he's he's small in stature, but he'd be a defender's nightmare, but he's won a vital free here. And Killian, the way he's striking the ball off hands this evening, 44 metres out, I wouldn't be surprised if he lands one.
Philo, could Mitchells have any complaints about that?
Nah, no complaints at all, Mike. It's been sloppy extra time and fellas look a little bit tired out there, so we're still waiting for the opening score. Well, if he kicks this, it'll be a great score.
Killian O'Connor, 6 points he's kicked so far this evening, 5 from frees, 1 from play. You can make it 7. Oh, wow. Killian O'Connor is giving a masterclass, Jackie Heenan, in free taking this evening.
After anything I would have said about him this last couple of weeks, I apologise, Killian, I apologise.
I think Jackie's not alone there. He's apologising for all the things he said about Killian these last few weeks. He's been playing well, but not 10 out of 10, but this evening, John, back to his very best.
He's class. Like, I mean, there's no question about it. Ballintubber would not be in this game only for him. He's excellent. Played very well.
Donny Newcombe to Neil Lydon. Callum Kine is in. He goes one way, the ball the other, and Neil Lydon had options there. He had runners going either side of him, didn't use them, went for the score, didn't make it. Well, as if we hadn't enough to worry about, the scoreboard here has just this moment been topped up with that Killian O'Connor score. I can only imagine the scorekeeper was in a state of shock, marvelling at the score. That's high from Ger McDonough and Gary Loftus, up around the head, and John Glavey wants to have a word. We're into the 7th minute, almost 8th minute. Advantage Ballintubber, they lead by 1. Yellow for McDonough.
Yeah, I rightly so. Like, I mean, he went in with a clothesline one there and one of the Ballintubber boys. Yeah, lucky enough, I suppose, but it was a definite yellow.
Diarmuid O'Connor would love to know what his GPS readings will be this evening. He's up and running all right. O'Connor, a trademark Diarmuid O'Connor score. Well, it took him a while to get that motor running, Jackie Heenahan, but now Diarmuid O'Connor is starting to play.
Well, we all know what he can do, but if you watch Patrick Durkin, Patrick did everything right. Kept him on to as he thought his left foot, and little did he know that Diarmuid should have the left foot, and a good left foot at that.
The pendulum has swung again. Ballintubber with the only 2 points we've had in extra time, and they lead 14-12. And they've just won a big turnover. Castlebar not making life easy for themselves again this evening. They let a 2-point lead slip down the home straight in normal time. Now they're 2 down, heading towards half time and extra time. Brian Welch played really, really well. Picked up a serious injury here a few years back, Brian Welch. A lot of people wondering at that stage, would he be able to come back from it? But he has, and he did. And he's showing again tonight why Kevin Johnson put him in the first 15. That was a really good interception there, though, by Owen O'Reilly. He just stretched out an arm, crucially, to win it back for the Mitchells. Neil Lydon driving through the tackles. Douglas got down low to take that. Douglas goes down under the challenge of Brian Murphy and Diarmuid O'Connor, and he's won a free in. Neil Douglas, 3 points he hit in normal time, and he is working himself into the ground in there in front of goal. Extra yardage here for descent as well.
Yeah, I think that balances the books. I think Ballintubber got a soft one, just equalised it in normal time. Dougie had nowhere to go. He just put the head down, and luckily enough for the referee, John Glavey, there was 3 or 4 Ballintubbers around him. He felt he warranted a free. But Dougie is working extremely hard. 2 points is a huge lead, but this will bring it back to a single point. But I just from a Castlebar Mitchell's point of view, the 2 lads that were substituted earlier on, Aidan Walsh and Danny Kirby, I wouldn't mind to see them introduced now with 10 minutes to go or 12 minutes to go. They're good talented footballers and a lot of tired legs out there, Mike. But if Castlebar Mitchell were to win it, I certainly would be introducing 1 or 2 of those guys.
David Stenson pops over the free. 1 point game again. We're into the last 30 seconds of normal time at the end of this first half of extra time. Paul Lydon, the linesman, has been in to get the word, and if my reading of hand signals are correct, 1 minute of additional time is what we're going to have. Don't mean to steal Michael Daly's thunder, Philo, but it is 1 minute. 1 minute for Mitchells to get level.
Yeah, we need to get level. Ballintubber really working hard. You can see it, the amount of closing down they're doing, but we're on the attack here.
Newcomb, Donny Newcomb, inside to Callum Kine. Newcomb's in after it. Out comes Brendan Welch. Man ball, he took the 2 of them. No penalty. John Glavey not interested. Clean take by Brendan Welch. He's a big unit, the Ballintubber goalkeeper, and when he came there, John Mahan, he meant it.
Yeah, fair play to him. He was very sharp and alert. He hasn't had a whole lot to do. I don't think he's had a single save to make for 70 minutes, but he was very sharp and alert, and there's no question about that. That was there was no free there to Castlebar Mitchels. You see the replay here now again, but yeah, it was a simple one for the goalkeeper. Yeah. That's Diarmuid O'Connor's point. That was. I'm sorry. Apologies to our viewers, but that was sheer class. I mean, Diarmuid O'Connor was magnificent. I got a lot of grief during the week for not giving the man the match, but how could I when I was supporting Mitchell's Jackie? But he was class. But that was a wonderful point from Diarmuid. But the game is still very delicately balanced. Who will win it, Mike? I haven't a clue, but it's fascinating at this stage with about 11 minutes left.
So we've come to the end of the first period of extra time, but now we will have to play on just a little longer. That's a big collision. Dillon brings down Kine. Free into the Mitchells. Well, we're in the dying moments of this first period of extra time, and out of nothing, Mitchells have managed to engineer a scoring chance, and John Glavey with a yellow to Dillon. Would it be fair to say Alan Dillon not getting John Glavey's number 1 there, John Mahan? Too early for it?
Well, it all depends. Are you suggesting we're going to have election anytime soon? But no, I think it was nothing other than a yellow. But yeah, it was one of those ones that were quite 50-50. Here we go.
Quick 45. Alan Dillon in the book. And now we'll blow for half time in extra time. Well, it's hard to keep up at times. Ballintubber lead 14 points to 13. Don't go away. We've got some analysis, and then we'll have the second period of extra time.
There are some things you don't expect to find in a tub. Like deliciously creamy, real butter. And there are some things you don't expect to find in real butter, like half the fat. So, we really can have it all. Connacht Gold. Real creamy butter. Half the fat.
And it's half time here at the extra time with Ballintubber and Castlebar. Ballintubber are up by 1 point, 14-13, and with us we have Billy Joe Padden. Billy, how do you think it's going?
Well, it's an intriguing contest, that's for sure. The last day it was, went to extra time and there was nothing between them. They're battling it out here again. I just think though that Ballintubber are probably playing the better football. They're a bit more direct, I think, and Castlebar Mitchels maybe are playing a bit too much across the field, and maybe they're lacking a bit of pace on when they're attacking. But there's nothing in it. Like it's anyone's game really, but it's going to go right down to the wire.
And what are your views on this?
I think the Mitchells management should consider bringing back Aidan Walsh and Johnny Kirby, and maybe going a little bit more direct, landing the likes of Johnny Kirby on the edge of the square. And as Willie Joe said, they're very lateral with their movement, and they've got the likes of Barry Moore and Johnny Kirby in the ranks here. I wouldn't mind to see them being plonked in at the edge of the square and just landing in a scud. There's 2 minutes left, and if they're a point behind, Mitchells, as Willie Joe said, are not playing with any fluency. He feels that the pendulum has swung in the direction of Ballintubber to come out here with a victory. For some reason, I see a draw written all over this. What happens then? I don't know. It's down to free kicks or something. But just look, there's nothing between both sides. Who's playing well? A couple of guys. Dermot kicked a massive point there. Jim O'Connor, we know the engine that he has, but I just feel that Mitchell should consider maybe introducing a couple of fresh legs. A couple of guys out there looking a bit laboured, and maybe it's time now.
And they're lining up here again, but I suppose Billy Joe, the bodies must be tired now. How are they going to do now for the last 10 minutes?
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say that's going to have a big bearing on the next 10 minutes. Who has the extra bit of stamina and the extra bit of pace. But if it's going to go to a shootout, and with the points that Cillian O'Connor are kicking out there, I'd have to say, they would look the more dangerous if it goes down to that part of the game.
Thanks very much, Billy, and we'll go back to responses now for a quick ad.
So the second period of extra time has been started by John Glavey. Just to tell you, Ballintubber have had to make a change there just before the second period of extra time started. Declan Larkin is into the defence and Cathal Hallinan has gone off. So Cathal Hallinan, who was the anchor at the heart of the defence, presumably has picked up a knock or has an issue, but in any event, Declan Larkin in. So turning around for the start of this 10-minute period of extra time, it is Ballintubber who lead Castlebar Mitchels by a point. And just to remind you, we did triple check there during the break. If it finishes level after this second period of extra time, we will have a replay. Jamesy Finnerty trying to take Donny Newcombe, and when you consider the amount of football Donny Newcombe, in fact that was Sean Conlon, give credit where it's due, but the amount of football, Philo, the original point still stands. Conlon has played tonight to be able to win that foot race with Jamesy Finnerty, who's not all that long on the field. That is some achievement.
Yeah, probably two fastest lads on the pitch, but Sean Conlon's got great wheels as well, and good defending. Technique was right, got the near hand in, and a good turnover.
Nice measured restart from the Mitchells. Owen O'Reilly throws it back to Conlon, and now Paddy Durkin just forced there to go short. Cillian O'Connor was loitering with intent. Gibbons he's got through some amount of work tonight. That's loose. Brian Murphy had work to do and he did it. Damien Coleman, Cillian O'Connor, Coleman again. Lovely football by Ballintubber. Now it's 2 against 2 inside. Coleman in over the top for Jamesy Finnerty. Conlon got a hand in, now gets a boot in. Jamesy Finnerty's life is being made miserable for him there by Conlon. Now he has it though. The Ballintubber corner forward gets onto that favoured left side. Back to Cillian O'Connor. goes to ground under the challenge of Neil Lydon. No free, says John Glavey, and Ballintubber will recycle it all the way back through a few pairs of hands to Jason Gibbons. Gibbons to Miles Kelly. Kelly across to Diarmuid O'Connor. Brian Welsh just couldn't make it stick. James Durkin goes to ground on his way out. Free to the Mitchells. We're 3 minutes into the second period of extra time. And the Mitchells have a free out. Still 14-13, still Ballintubber in front. Neil Lydon. He knows one way to goal, and that's the shortest route. But Jason Gibbons, again, he stayed with him every step of the way just to knock him off the ball. Mitchells, though, have managed to get it back, and it's that man Douglas again. He never knows when he's beaten. But credit where it's due to Jason Gibbons initially, Jackie. He couldn't have done a whole lot more, but Douglas just wouldn't give up on it.
Yeah, that's why Dougie is this class player. Jason tracked all the way back. Just to go back on something for a few moments, we had a minute up here maybe with a lot of possession, and we had nothing to show for it, and that's what happened when the team didn't break. More often than not, they get a score at the other end, which can deflate you. When we are getting our possession, we've got to make use of it. We haven't been doing that the last few minutes.
Jackie, just before this free is taken, Joe Geraghty is in for Gary Loftus. Let's give Gary Loftus the bit of praise he deserves.
Yeah, Gary has been marvellous. You can see the way he's walking. That's the way he was after coming off the last night, and he didn't train at all this week, which wasn't known maybe. Didn't even tog out this week. The body is getting battered and bruised, but he has been just marvellous again tonight. Marvellous.
Well, he is a warrior, Gary Loftus, and he's had to come off. He's got nothing left in the tank. Here's a big free for Stenson, and it's gone across the face of the goal and wide. That was the chance to bring Mitchell's level halfway through this second period of extra time, and it's gone a begging.
Oh, a big miss, Mike, in a very, very tight, close counter of this nature. 20 metres out on his right side, albeit on his wrong side for a right-footed kicker. But he wasn't anywhere near the touchline. But that's one that went to begging. He should have nailed that, Jackie. You'd agree with me?
Yeah, without shadow of a doubt, normally with David Stenton, he hardly misses anything. That's it, Jason. Great fielding by Jason Gibbons at midfield. It's now Ballintubber, a bit of composure needed. Ballintubber just slow down. There goes Alan Dillon making himself available for a quick pass. Give it back, Alan. Don't be doing fancy things this stage of the game. That's good stuff. Brian Murphy coming out of defence. I think Brian has the attacker's instinct. There's James with a great pass again. Now lads, let's move it forward.
Jason Gibbons, the man who started that little passage of play, is now trying to finish it. Gavin Coleman coming at an angle off his shoulder. Gibbons going through the gap. McDonough, that was a tired tackle. Here's Pádraig O'Connor, POC from 35 yards. You'll hear the roar back in Ballintubber. Pádraig O'Connor with a superb score. He rolled back the ears there, did Pádraig O'Connor, and Ballintubber lead 15 points to 13. We've got about 5 minutes to go in extra time, and Pádraig O'Connor, if Ballintubber go on to win this, Jackie, he'll be dining out on that score for a while.
He might even get a couple of hours off tomorrow from his Garda Síochána job in Westport.
Well, even if he doesn't, there may not be a whole lot done, let's be honest. Mitchell's trying to put something together. Here's Donny Vaughan. That looked like a foul taken down by Brian Welsh. It'll be a free in, and if this goes over, and let's be honest, it should, it'll be a 1 point game again, swinging into the last few minutes. They haven't bent the knee at any stage, either of these two teams. It's almost too much to bear. You can just see all around the stand here, everybody is on the edge of their seats, nails been chewed. There's so much riding on every kick now, every tackle, every scoring chance. Neil Douglas, scorer tonight of 3 points, I think, and I think that's 4. 4 points for Douglas. He and Brian Murphy, they'll sleep tonight. 15-14, Ballintubber lead. Mitchells are going to bring Danny Kirby back in, and it will be David Stenson who comes back out. Philo, what's the thinking behind that change, do you think?
I'd say what they're doing looks looking for some ball winners. David Stinson's very good near into goal from taking shots or from frees, but we don't get enough from probably in open play, so the big thing is to try and get a big man in there and get ball in, and we need ball winners.
Kick out from Brendan Welsh, out to this near side towards Anthony O'Boyle. Diarmuid O'Connor, who else? Down to win it. He is driven out over the line by Owen O'Reilly. The Ballintubber mentors, their bench, are furious. Kevin Kennelly has his flag in the air. Kevin Kennelly, I think, wants to talk to John Glavey. John Glavey was prepared to give a line ball there to Castlebar Mitchels, but Diarmuid O'Connor is still down, and John, it's going to take a while to sort that one out.
It is. I think it was definite Ballintubber free. We see it here again in the replay. Yeah, he was going to end, going down the ball. That would be considered. Yeah, he was shoved over the line. I think that was certainly he was back bent, and to me that was a definite Ballintubber free kick.
Well, they still haven't sorted it out now. John Glavey and Kevin Kennelly are doing their best, but Diarmuid O'Connor is still down.
Diarmuid is down, but I think what Kevin Kennelly wants to talk to John Glavey about, the referee here, is that the Ballintubber officials were very much in Kevin Kennelly's face, and there was probably a little bit of pushing going on. So maybe that's what Kevin Kennelly wants to talk about. He's up. Diarmuid's up anyway.
Good to see Diarmuid back on his feet again. 3 minutes to go here at MacHale Park in Castlebar. Ballintubber lead by a point. And after all of that, Castlebar Mitchels do get the original decision, the original line ball. Could turn out to be a big call. If they can manufacture an equaliser, it could finish it for the night. Ger McDonough, all the shooters trying to get into position. Ballintubber have got 15 men behind the ball, and somebody's fouled off the ball. It's Cillian O'Connor. He's fouled Paddy Durkin, and the ball has been brought forward for dissent. These are big calls, and it's a chance for Mitchels to equalise.
Yeah, and it's only the right thing. If you're looking at the off the ball play that's been going on the last 2 minutes, Mike, Ballintubber have been very cynical with pulling Mitchell's fellas, blocking the runs, and they're getting their just rewards now for that.
I'm just saying, Mike, I mean, if that was a body check, that was a definite black card. He hasn't issued a black card. I think it was Cillian that was involved with Donald Vaughan there. If it was a body check, Cillian is lucky that he's still on the field.
Well, it's all coming down to this. Neil Douglas from right in front of the goal. 2 minutes to go. Douglas, deadly as ever. Dougie ties it up at 15 points apiece. The champions and the challengers. Will they be separated? Next score wins, surely?
Yeah, but there's 2 minutes of injury time. Yeah, I mean, there's still chance for a winner here.
So we've got about 3 minutes, give or take, still to play. Owen O'Reilly to Jimmy Durkin. Neil Lydon breaking down this left-hand side. Callum Kine is in there on the edge of the square. Lydon looked like he was going to wind up. Instead, pops it through. Won by O'Reilly. He could pop up anywhere. Now James Durkin trying to wriggle past Gavin. Surrounded. John Glavey is watching. Ball comes out in a Ballintubber man's hands. It's Diarmuid O'Connor. Diarmuid O'Connor somehow managed to rip the ball out of the grasp of the Mitchels man fairly and squarely and win a free. Now it's Ballintubber's turn. Pádraig O'Connor is up top, all on his own. The spearhead of that Ballintubber forward line right now. Back to Dylan. Lovely jink from Dylan. Just like the old days, the way he took Donny Vaughan out of it there with that little swivel. O'Connor again. Larkin, and now Kieran Gavin. Jason Gibbons like a train down the middle. Still going. There's a loose man up top. It's Joe Geraghty. Could Joe Geraghty win it? He might just have won it. Joe Geraghty, Ballintubber super sub, kicks them a point in front. We're in stoppage time. A row breaks out on the far side of the field. It's been seen by Paul Lydon, the linesman. We'll deal with that in a moment. But Jackie Heenahan, talk us through how Joe Geraghty, of all players, popped up loose and swung over the lead score.
He has a natural forward instinct. He's Geraghty. Think about it. Go back to 85. Jerry Geraghty, the uncle. Natural instinct. Joe teaching here in Castlebar, that would be a sweet one for Joe.
Ger Geraghty, one of the greats. He might even be watching right now, but what a score from Joe, John.
I played with Joe, one of the 21 title super footballer, and obviously immigrated to Chicago, but it was Jason Gibbons that came into the line and created that chance. Mitchell still have it. Well, they haven't. They've turned the ball over.
The 3 in a row winning Castlebar Mitchels team are on the ropes. Ballintubber have won a free in the middle of the field. Are their dreams of 4 in a row about to end here tonight? Ballintubber lead Castlebar 16-15. It has been a marathon match. Michael Plunkett, he'll head for the corner flag. Time is up. We're into additional time. At the end of additional time, Paddy Durkin somehow stole that out of Michael Plunkett's back pocket. Conlon, if the ball goes dead, then surely Mitchell's time is up. Push in the back on Callum Kine. Free to Castlebar. Donny Vaughan to take it. There are mentors from both teams out on the field. Everybody wants their voice heard. Everybody instructing Donny Vaughan to do this, that, the other with it. Go short with the free to Owen O'Reilly. This is surely it for the Mitchells. This is surely the last roll of the dice. James Durkin back to Conlon. Conlon up the line to Kirby. Looked like he was going to go for it. Ballintubber have 15 men inside their 45. Men dropping like flies. Jimmy Durkin. Mitchells, they know surely this is their last chance. Shane Hopkins tries to go through the tackle. Back to Durkin again. Mitchells are almost right back to square one. They're crucially though, they keep the ball alive. Kirby's shot is blocked. It's all over. Oh, what a finish. What a game. And what a win for Ballintubber. Joe Geraghty has kicked Ballintubber back to a county final, and the 3-in-a-row champions Castlebar Mitchels are out, beaten after extra time in the replay, 16-15 on a magical night for Ballintubber here in Castlebar. Let's take another look, John Maughan, at the man who kicked the winner, Joe Geraghty, doing his thing.
Yeah, here I think look at Jason Gibbons coming in the line, takes the ball on the burst, sucks in 3 Mitchell's defenders, a little pop pass, great vision, and he had all the time in the world to slot a lovely point over of his right. But I have to say, good luck to Ballintubber. They persevered. I thought they were gone in normal time. They were 2 points down. I think they show great character and resilience and great experience to persevere there with likes of Alan Dillon right for 85-86 minutes tonight. And you know, when you needed a smart guy on the ball, he was there to clip a ball back. But unfortunately for Castlebar Mitchell's point of view, they didn't play well enough. That's the bottom line, and they're out. They were everyone considered them to be potential Connacht victors, maybe if they got out of Mayo. But no, Ballintubber played great football there, and they showed great character. And we talked earlier about the likes of Gary Loftus. He was superb. James Durkin, I thought, was going to light up the night where he had 2 early points, but Gary put the clappers on him for about 65 minutes. And in fairness to John Glavey, I thought he refereed it well. There were a couple of decisions that might have been questionable, but I think on the balance of play he had a good game. But the excitement only really came into the game in the extra time. Similar to last weekend, I thought the first half last weekend was quite poor, but tonight Ballintubber, as Willie Joe said it there, I think at half time and extra time, he thought that the pendulum has swung towards Ballintubber. Good luck to them. I hope it hasn't taken a huge amount out of them to play obviously next Saturday night in the county final. That certainly was energy sapping, and Jackie mentioned about the likes of Gary Loftus, how he struggles to make it back. He didn't train during this past week, but good luck to Ballintubber. They played great football, and they'll be in the ice bath, I'm sure, tomorrow morning. There'll be no time to celebrate this. What is for them a great victory against a great nemesis, Castlebar Mitchels. I know they've great respect for one another, but I think when it comes to playing, they love beating the Mitchells, Ballintubber, and good luck to them.
Well, they've suffered so many times at the hands of the Mitchells over the last few years, Ballintubber, but tonight is their night. It's finished in a dramatic 16 points to 15 win after extra time. It'll be Ballintubber against Breaffy in the county final next Saturday night. You'll hear a lot more from Kevin Filan, Jackie Heenan and John Maughan very shortly, but first we'll have a quick break.
There are some things you don't expect to find in a tub, like deliciously creamy, real butter. And there are some things you don't expect to find in real butter, like half the fat. So, we really can have it all. Connacht Gold, real creamy butter, half the fat.
Question, and then
I think that's
massive performance there. How do you think?
Yeah, it was a fascinating game. Over two games, very little between those both sides, and Ballintubber delivered when it mattered most, right at the death, and Joe Geraghty popped up with a winning score. Jason Gibbons, who had a quite enough game by his standards, created the chance, the opportunity, and he had the vision and the awareness to see Joe Geraghty lurking to his right, and Joe had all the time in the world to go in and clip a lovely point over off his right. And I suppose on the balance of play, they probably deserved it, Niamh, to be honest with you. I think they played the better football. Willie Joe more alluded to that about 20 minutes ago. He thought the pendulum had swung towards Ballintubber. They played really, really well. I see Alan Dillon walking up here now towards us. He's hoping there might be a near election in December. I'm not too sure will he get many votes around Castlebar, but no, Alan he played 84 or 5 minutes there. He was very clever with his possession going down the home stretch. Very, very smart, and but it was very, very exciting. I have to say I really, really enjoyed it.
Thanks very much, John. Alan, congratulations, what a game. I mean, you must be absolutely delighted after a performance like that.
Yeah, pretty exhausted, I suppose. Two titanic battles. We know each other very well at this stage, and they were brilliant champions the last 3 years. So, I suppose it's time now for someone new to lift the MacHale. So, we'll have 7 days to recover, get the bodies right, and look forward to the Brafey Challenge.
Absolutely, well done. And after 2 games like that, going into extra time, I mean, the bodies must be tired, and fair play, like everyone stepped up, and brilliant performance by everyone.
Yeah, listen, there was some big character showed. I suppose Castlebar were never going to give in. So it was right down to the last attack there, and luckily enough we got a brilliant block. I'm not sure who blocked it, but I suppose that was the difference. For it to go to a replay again. So small margins, in them tight games, and we're just delighted. There's no cups given out today, and I suppose that's the most important thing. While our supporters will enjoy tonight, we'll have to get the bodies right over the next 7 days.
That's it. And you joined Brafey now in the county final, so how will you prepare for that game now after a game like this? Yeah,
I'm sure Brafey, Peter Ford and Shane Conway will have their homework done, but again it's a local derby, so it'll be a fiercely contested battle. We played them already in the group stages, and I think that was a draw as well. So listen, it's we're back here in 7 days, so it's going to be an entertaining one. I've in-laws in Brafey. I'm sure they're watching tonight, and looking forward to it.
Absolutely, and what a great score there by Garrity, to get that point at the end. Absolutely huge pressure.
Yeah, and listen, our bench contributors, and it's great for the likes of Joe, who got game time near the end there. He popped up in the right place at the right time, and cool and composed, and he just slotted it over, and we needed that score.
Great stuff. Thanks very much, Alan.
Yeah, we're just showing it here. Jason Gibbons made a great impact run there, just broke through, and Joe had the time and just slotted it over, and for a man who's more accustomed to corner back or wing back, he looked like a man who looked comfortable doing that.
Yeah, super stuff. Well done, Alan, and best of luck at the county final.
Thanks a million, Niamh. Thank you. Well done, Al. Thanks very much.
Kevin, it's a tough day for Castlebar, but they'll be disappointed with that.
Oh, surely disappointed. Very disappointed as well for sure. McDonagh was captain this year, and he's a great leader, and has been a great leader for Castlebar for the last number of years. But look, these are the breaks. It was level, and Castlebar Mitchels were attacking, and James got turned over, and Ballintubber defended it well. And you saw there from the replay, Jason Gibbons sucked in 3 or 4 Castlebar Mitchels lads and popped the ball to Joe, and that's it, the winning score. These are the things, the small margins to win games, yourself. But Castlebar Mitchels will be very, very disappointed, but they'll hold their head high. They're a proud bunch of lads, and they've done the club an enormous amount for the club in the last number of years. You see all the kids around the town with Mitchell's jersey on them, so they've nothing to be ashamed of at all.
Absolutely. And I suppose Ballintubber, that was a cracking game, and they'll be absolutely delighted with that result.
Yeah, it's a sweet one, admittedly. But Kevin knows most of those Ballintubber lads have gone to school here in Castlebar, so they're all when you go on the field, naturally there's the instinct, the competitive instinct, but they're actually good friends off the pitch. You can meet them down in Rays, maybe on another night they could be in Rays after this, having a few pints together. A lot of them are good friends, but when you put on the jersey, you have to go to battle, and I have to say both teams gave it their all there tonight. We just happened to get the lucky breaks at the right time. I'd be a bit worried, but there's only a week for turnaround. A lot of our lads are bound to be tired. That was the same when we played with the Mitchels if they were in it. A lot of our lads are tired. I knew that after the last game last week. It took them a good while to get back. They will be in the ice bath tomorrow morning, and they have to get their heads right now, get this out of the way. Next weekend, Saturday at 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock for the senior game. 6 o'clock for the intermediate one, and 8 o'clock for the senior game next Saturday night. It's a very short turnaround. They have to get their heads right, but we're in it, and once you're in it, half the battle is there.
Yeah, absolutely. Your recovery will be very important for them now coming up to the county final, and next week we'll have the county finals at 6 and 8 o'clock, and that'll go live on Mayo GAA TV, so please log in. And thanks very much for everyone for joining me here today. Thanks, Jackie, and thanks, Kevin. And we'll look forward to seeing you for more. Thank you very much.
There are some things you don't expect to find in a tub. Like deliciously creamy, real butter. And there are some things you don't expect to find in real butter. Like half the fat. So, we really can have it all. Connacht Gold. Real creamy butter. Half the fat.